Blackout with family. This say that he is maybe glad and rejoicing with the recent blackouts lately, and with the question and the rumors growing about a coming blackout and how long that blackout is supposed to last. This is the video that seeks to answer those questions, and this is for speculation and entertainment purposes only. TikTok. As you guys know, there was a recent widespread blackout on October 20th, 2025 that began in Northern Virginia. It was not an electrical grid failure, but a massive internet outage caused by a technical failure at Amazon Web Services data center. This incident affected thousands of major websites, apps, including banks, airlines, and streaming services. If a technical failure / update, which is what caused this blackout, and that's what seems to cause every blackout, what happens when they actually cyber attack us, quote unquote? Just imagine. Importantly, pray about it. So these were all the services that were effective: social media and communication, Snap, Reddit, Signal, streaming services, Hulu, Prime Video, Disney, financial services, all these banks, gaming, retail, airlines, as it said in the last slide. But yeah, this is pretty big. Because of this happened, a lot of people are speculating now another blackout might happen. So now let's tie it in to Leave the World Behind, which was produced by the Obamas, by the way, and by President Obama. Now, first things first, the blackout started from Virginia. Now, what's so special about Virginia, Zio? Let me show you. Virginia was not officially called Igbo land, but some historians have nicknamed it the other Igbo land because the Igbo people were predominantly an ethnic group among the enslaved Africans brought to the colony. So they distinguished the Igbo people from the Africans here, right? And the nickname reflects the profound and lasting cultural impact that Igbo had on the development of the region's early slave society. See, this message is not about color, right? A lot of people take a message like this and then make it about color, but it's not about color. But as it's said up here, this is about culture. Even in Virginia, which was called, unofficially called Igbo land, part of it, those same Israelites, right? They made a society for themselves called Israel Hill. Just to the west lies Israel Hill, established in 1810 to 1811 by approximately 90 former enslaved persons who received freedom and 300 acres from Judith Randolph under the will of her husband. These Israelites and other free African Americans worked as farmers, craftspeople, and Appomattox River boatmen. Some labored alongside the blanks for equal wages and defended their rights in court. Maybe Nat Turner figured this out, and this is why he led the Dead Man Slave Rebellion. I don't know, but this is definitely why they sold us the European version of the Bible. Now let me show you the correlation with Virginia. On August 20th, 1619, a ship named the White Lion arrived at Point Comfort, which is now Hampton, Virginia, carrying the first enslaved Africans to be brought to England's North American colonies. What's the connection with that, Zio? Let me show you. A ship named the White Lion. Now, Leave the World Behind, right, is about a blackout. And the ship, which is a metaphor for the rest of the movie that docked on the shores, was called the White Lion.
Understood because of the metaphor. Understood because of the metaphor. This scene is when the oil tanker keeps coming towards the shore. They saw this oil tanker, but it was far from them. It was close enough to get their attention and see, but not close enough for them to think about it. It was approaching, slowly, but they ignored it until it was so close that it was about to hit them. Matter of fact, they still wouldn't even known it was coming unless their daughter had warned them. They kept using that girl as the one with most sense and with her eyes opened, but I'm not going to focus on that. I really don't care. The oil tanker was definitely a metaphor of everyone in the movie and in this world. You see, everyone in this world, they see something happening. They know things aren't right. Matter of fact, Julia Roberts, she alludes to this later in the movie.
I think deep down we know we're not fooling anyone. I think we know we're living a lie. An agreed upon mass delusion to help us ignore and keep ignoring how awful we really are.
They all know something. They see something coming, but they feel it's better to just ignore it. But it keeps coming slowly while they live comfortably while it approaches. They don't recognize that danger is coming straight towards them. They ignore it. And here's the craziest part. Even when it's almost there, they still kind of deny it. Like when Julia Roberts asked her husband, did he think it's a problem? And he basically said, no, it'll stop. It's got to, right? Even with all the evidence that something was wrong, they still denied it. All until it was about to hit them. I mean, think about it. What were the people doing as they saw it coming? They stood there looking at it. This was a metaphor of how everything that is going to happen in the movie actually happened, which is why they put it in the movie first. This illustrates and explains how everyone is today. They know problems are here, but they live in their comfort and in their ignorance, expecting that at some point it's going to stop. They really feel that it won't actually
the Bible says in 1 Peter 4:17, for the time that is come that judgment must begin at the house of Elohim, and if it begins at us, what shall be the end of them that do not obey the Besorah of Elohim? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the wicked and the sinner appear? Jacob has already been in trouble for a long time, and we've been judged, which is why we got scattered here. This is why I'm pointing all these connections, right? For entertainment purposes, this is why I'm pointing all these connections out to you guys, okay? See, when Jacob's trouble ends, the world's trouble begins, because now that the house of Yasharel has been judged, now the house of the world, if we're going to say it like that, is about to be judged, and that's why this blackout's going to happen. That's why all these things are going to begin to happen. Y'all remember them red notes from Leave the World Behind? It they dropped in the movie as well? Well, I translated it for myself, and then I Googled what it meant. This is what it found. This is Google Translate. We ask you to pay immediate attention to what we say in this anthem. We possess the most dangerous and destructive blanks in history, and we leave you with this horrifying truth to ponder. We emphasize the validity of what I have just said about using this on your land, and we must be taking steps to stop the resistance. Who are you to surrender your country? See, the citizens are the collateral damage for America not being able to pay back its debt, physically to the lenders and spiritually to the devil. Now, when you look it up, right, the notes it says it's in Arabic, which I translated it to. We own the most dangerous and destructive blanks in the history of the world, and we give you this frightening truth so that you can contemplate about it. See, there's a little bit of difference at the end with those. What does the color red mean in the movie, right? What does all this mean? The symbolism, the title represents the film's central theme that the characters are forced to confront a new terrifying reality that their old lives and understanding of the world behind. Understand? Okay, significance of the color red. Red is a dominant color in the film used in the logos, the leaflets that I just showed you, in the house's front door, its interior walls, and in the light bunker. Symbolism, it usually represents the rising danger and fear and uncertainty that the characters face as the crisis unfolds. So how is this going to affect American citizens? What is the timeline this is going to play out on? So G.H. Scott explained it best in the movie, and I wrote down what he said to the best of my ability. So bar for bar, if I to the best of my ability. So stage 1 is isolation, disable air transportation and communications. Most likely when the EMP happens, you're not going to be able to drive your car. It's unlike in the movie, it's actually going to affect your car. So prepare for that. Have a bug out bag at all times. So disabling their transportation communication will set them up for the second stage effectively, which is synchronized chaos. Hit the people with covert attacks and misinformation. Without a clear enemy or motive, people will start turning on each other. Already starting to see that happen, especially with the people's food stamps supposedly being taken away on November 1st. The third stage is, if the other two stages are done properly, will happen on its own. Civil war and collapse as we know it. Societal collapse, that is. So how long is the blackout's going to last? Some people think weeks, some people think months. I would say probably months more than weeks, but I don't know. Because the blackout is only setting the stage, like it said in the plan for war, civil war, all that stuff. I think China, before it attacks Taiwan, will hit America with a blackout. The way they can get the advantage on Taiwan. Then since they would have blacked out our communication systems and everything else, now the government can be like, oh, our key allies been attacked, BRICS and Russia are attacking NATO, and now our systems are blacked out, we're going to war. Since there would be no TikTok or anything else, use kind of like with Amber Alert or the emergency broadcasting signal, they would send those through. They would be the sole source of information. So people that so-called opposed it wouldn't be able to get on one accord and be like, hey, so it equally crushes resistance. You know what I mean? It crushes any and all resistance because you can't communicate and you're spread out and there's civil war going on, so you don't know who you can trust. Again, I'm not advocating for physical rebellion, but spiritual revolution. What's coming is not for us, family, but he's using this to deliver us. Isaiah 43 verse 3 and 4 says that he will hold the world ransom for us when he brings us into the wilderness. Like literally. It's not about Satan enacting his plan. This is about the Most High Yah fulfilling his. And every character in this movie is symbolic of someone that you will know when the blackout happens. G.H. Scott was so focused on his career and money, he couldn't see, even with powerful friends who were telling him what was going on, what was really taking place. She knew her dad was misleading her, kind of like the church people, but still followed him anyway. She was so blinded by hate and their own preconceived. Roberts was so deceived by her own preconceived notions in her head that the media had told her with her racial biases. How many people do we know like that? My boy right here, Clay, he said he was a useless man. This is the effeminate male that society's created, who doesn't lead, or an ineffective leader. And he was so blinded by his lust, he couldn't see what was happening around him, although he had his sister telling him what was called the truth in the movie. But did you know what's on her shirt means to deceive in Hebrew? See, it's all twisted, and everybody in that movie represents somebody that you know. I love you, family.